Hello there, my name is Nadrewski, and today in this video I'll be giving you a tour of my world on Vintage Story. But before we jump into that, let me give you a quick breakdown on what Vintage Story is. Well, for starters, Vintage Story is kind of like Minecraft, but the level of depth on in-game detail makes this a completely different game. This game has everything. Realistic weather to picking up sticks and flint to make tools, and that's me just barely scratching the surface. I'm already 3 rounds in and it only seems like things are going to get harder from here. That's enough for the intro. We'll talk again soon throughout the tour. So this here is the front gate, not really anything special. I spent a lot of time on these bars right here. I chiseled them out myself. When you first come into the right after entering the base, it's a little gatehouse here, a little storage system. Supposed to be levers, like you're controlling the gate. Right here outside of the gatehouse is a little area where I do a little bit of barrel work. There's some rock stored back here. Next, let's move on to our farm. So this is my garden. I'm very excited. My trees are finally growing and it's about time for me to harvest. Most of my crops are either done or almost done. We'll do our second harvest. So this is our very first one. I have a lot of trees planted. Spent a lot of time looking for trees and getting cuttings so I can have fruit and start making things like jam and preparing for winter and preserving food. Doesn't seem any of these trees have started to grow yet. These are mango and pear trees. I should probably ask somebody what's wrong with these trees. So this is my open farmland. It grows weeds. The main thing I use this for is to grow this plant right here. It is called horsetail. Honestly, farming is one of my favorite aspects of the game. It takes a long time. So now I'll be moving on to my cellar. This is one of the last things I've built before I started this recording session. Now, the best way I can explain the function of a cellar is probably just by me showing you. So let's go grab some food. So now that we have that food on hand, let me show you all exactly how preservation works. So as you can see right here, it says fresh for 4 days. Now it is fresh for 13 days. This works on things like cured meat and other meals and food, but let's get out this cellar. I'm pretty happy I stopped to do that demonstration. I was kind of hungry. So let's go ahead and take a look on the inside. This was the very first part of this entire building. My bed used to be in this corner right here, actually. Right here. So there's not much going on in this main room anymore, just some weapons hanging and some chests and whatnot. So as we move on to this back room, I'm gonna close these doors. This is just a storage room. This was my very first storage room. That's one of my next big projects. Yeah, just my first read chest is still in here. Some items in some of these chests here. Storage is pretty self-explanatory, but very, very crucial to having a lot of space in this game. Let's move on to the next room. This will be my barter forge. I have plans to make a bigger one. Spent a lot of time in here. No matter what metal you're using, getting your tools is a 4 to 6 step process every single time. If this game has taught me anything so far, it is that patience is a virtue. Let's move on to the upstairs part of this base. Before we move upstairs, I forgot to mention this giant pile of firewood I have. It's pretty easy to miss when you're just kind of running through the base. And then this is another little cellar I have right here. The same thing as the other, just my very first one that I created trying to store some food. So the day I built this balcony was the day I really decided to stick with this world. I used to have a very big issue with like world abandonment, even when it came to games like Minecraft. I got a lot of ideas standing up here. Ideas like the wall, the farm, heck, even the fire pit kiln. So let's move on into the next building. This is kind of like my kitchen slash chiseling room. Very decorative in here. This is fancy room. I spent the most time chiseling in this building. Here's like our little cooking area. Yeah, I really like this room. I even did some chiseling with a little bit of function. Here, let me show you real quick. And boom, hidden storage that looks like a very cool shelf. So upstairs is my personal living space. Right here to the left is my very comfortable bed. Very nice and cozy. I have a little chest behind my bed. We have a golden chest right here, a treasure chest with all of my rusty gears. I'm killing a lot of drifters and experienced a lot of temporal storms, which spawned some of the monsters in the game. And most of these other things are just decoration, don't really serve much function. And that will conclude this tour. I want to thank you very much for watching. I will be creating more content on this game in about 2 to 4 weeks, and in the meantime I'll be posting plenty of Rainbow Six Siege, so be sure to turn on post notifications. If you would like to support the channel, be sure to drop a like on this video, it helps a ton, or subscribe. I hope you have a great day, and goodbye.